Okay, so I think it's time to talk spoilers on Supergirl. So if you have not seen the movie, this is your cue to leave, go to the theater, go check it out, and then come on back and hear what I have to say. So that is your warning. We're going to be talking spoilers. So, where do I start? I'm not going to mention every single thing that happens in the movie, so I apologize in advance. But I will say that there were some things that I really did like about the movie. I like how it, like when Kara is on her adventures from planet to planet, it lets you know what sun it has, what each planet's sun has. Like over here has a red sun, over here yellow sun, and I loved how they added this element from the Woman of Tomorrow comic, where there's a kryptonite sun and the yellow sun. So I was like, oh, when you saw the shining green light, I was like, oh, they added the kryptonite sun. Holy crap! That's like an interesting little element in the graphic novel that I was like, okay, interesting. It would have been a missed opportunity if they didn't put this in the movie, but it is in the movie. I love it, and I also do like that. Like I said in my spoiler-free review, where it lets the emotions sit, like with the flashbacks of Krypton, and like what happened, like with Argo City, like the little details, like where you see the force field. It's like, I mean, it's just like it has that basically imagery of Argo City. So that was pretty damn cool, where it separates from the overall like planet of Krypton, and it eventually what destroyed Krypton catches up to Argo City and the people in it, where Kara's mother is infected with kryptonite, and eventually her father is infected with kryptonite, but he gets her onto the ship before they can leave, and then she finds Crypto right before, well, during her mother's funeral. So that was a pretty cute little detail there. And I didn't expect that scene to hit the way it did. I'm like, dang, it's making me feel a little sad. Like, jeez. And that's cool how, how in many other versions of Superman, they speak English, just plain English. And then here, a very few versions they do have them speaking Kryptonian, like where it's a different language, and they definitely lean into that, and like with this movie, so that was pretty cool to see. And wow, and I really did like how I liked how Lobo was portrayed. Like when he walks into the room, he nearly takes up the entire frame of a shot that he's in, and the whole in the room that he's in. Where I'm like, this dude is huge as hell. Like, and you're just looking up at him like, you're taking up my whole personal space, bro. And people were heavily critical on Crim of the Yellow Hills, the way he's portrayed. Yeah, I can't defend that. No offense to the actor, but yeah, he's a bit standard villain ish, whatever. Like I didn't feel that much find him that much threatening, but he was okay for the story since it's based off of Woman of Tomorrow. But when he did shoot Crypto with that poison dart, seeing Crypto to react the way he did, it broke my heart. It broke my heart. I'm like, come on, buddy, pull through. I think you are gonna pull through, but come on, pull the fuck through. And it's pretty interesting how like where it answers the question of why doesn't Kara just fly him to the yellow sun or whatever, or go to where there's a yellow sun, but saying that moving him could speed up the virus, so like he has to stay right here. And Yeah, so that's the one reason why you can't really just simply super speed him to the yellow sunbeam. Like he might die before you even get to the sunlight. But then again, if Superman were in that situation, let's say he did die, he has known to have died like quite a bit of times in comics and such, and you hit him with yellow sun, and then it takes some time to really revive him, and like theoretically that could uh do crypto, but I get why they did that, like why Kara did not want to take that chance. Totally get it. Totally get it. But and as I predicted that Kara was not going to be donning her suit until the third act, to where it really feels like okay, where she finally overcomes her trauma and her need to drink like herself to through the whole day from day to day, like where she overcomes that and actually does become Supergirl. So that was a pretty cool moment, like when she had to save Ruthie and all those girls that Krim and his people been racking up, and like, well, you know that was pretty cool to see. And that scene, like where Kara goes to reach this couple, like okay, so you know somebody who knows the Brickens, like who like the Crims and Krim and his people, and not surprised that they betrayed her, in order to try to get their daughter back from Krim, and whoo, and he ends up killing them anyway. The couple, their daughter, like crazy shit, crazy fucking shit. And I have to say, the third act is fun to watch, like seeing Supergirl in action and Lobo just fucking shit up, and Ruthie, like part of the action as well. And when it really boiled down to where Kara encourages Ruthie not to kill Krim, just like, come on, if you do this, it won't take your pain away. It's gonna haunt you, and then basically saving Ruthie from becoming as jaded as Kara. So after Ruthie walks away, she offs the fuck out of Krim. I won't miss the guy, but sheesh. Sheesh. Dang. Talk about brutal. And the way they used Superman in this movie, I thought was done pretty good, and flashbacks to where it does almost feel like Supergirl's origin story in a way, even though it's set mainly in present day, but she thinks back on her time on her home planet and being sent to Earth. And it's interesting how in many versions Kara is older than Clark, but and then she is like and chronogenically frozen for like over 20 years or whatnot, and as she comes back she's the same age as she was like when Clark was a baby. But here Clark was, like Kal-El was sent off to Krypton before Kara was born, so that's an interesting little switch up that I really did like. And I respect them for not putting the end credit scene like in this movie. I'm like, okay, cool. Kara's story is told. End credits. Out the theater you go. I'm cool with that. Where they didn't do the whole setup for another movie thing. I'm glad that they didn't do that. But if they did do that, I would probably have a geek out moment like, oh, I can't wait for this movie. But I have a lot of respect for them for not going in that direction. You know what I mean? But I do have mixed feelings about, like, at least at the time when Superman meets Kara for the first time. He at least at this point of the story, he doesn't know how to speak Kryptonian. I'm assuming after, like during the events of his very of Superman's movie, he knows how to, he at least knows, understands the language, because like only part of that message from Jarrell and Laura, like that was sent to him, like he knows what they're saying, only in that first half of the message. But I feel like what I would have done was where he understands the language, where when he speaks to Kara and like out of habit, like just like how I'm talking to you, where he goes like, "Oh, I apologize," and then he starts speaking Kryptonian. Like that's what I would have had him do. But it was kind of adorable and I guess kind of funny, like that he was like, "Oh, shoot, I don't know how to speak Kryptonian. I'm sorry." But I gotta say, I had fun with this movie. It was so fun, so fun. And I don't understand the hate. I mean, it's not a movie of 2026. It's not a masterpiece. It's just like a fun, watchable movie. I mean, like, come on. And it's funny how people criticized other versions of Supergirl, especially like in the 1984 movie and in the Arrowverse show, where people call her those specific versions the girl version of of Clark Kent, and especially in the Arrowverse series, it's pretty spot on. Like I can't speak against it. I mean, she wears glasses. She wants to be a reporter in that show. She wants to be exactly like basically in Clark's shadow, pretty much, and at the same time being out of his shadow, but yet you're basically having a job like him, glasses and all. And here, they want to make her different than Superman, even though they have similar traits, like where they have, they both have good hearts. She's a bit jaded. She fights more brutal, and she doesn't have a problem with fucking shit up. Apparently, hopefully that doesn't become a strong habit. Maybe that's just something she had to do with Krim, and I'm not mad at her for doing it. I don't miss the guy. But those are my spoiler topics on Supergirl. Jump in the comments and talk about something that I didn't miss, or just let's talk, in general. But yeah, those are my spoiler thoughts. So I'll catch you guys in my next video. So until then, peace out.